5 women got lost out there. Only 4 came back.
Out there, nature holds us all to account.
Your number 7 film, and this is one that I'd never heard of before, but this is Force of Nature, The Dry 2. Never heard of The Dry in the first place. I guess it's an Australian film. It's got Eric Bana. It's got Anna Torv, both Australian actors. Anna Torv, of course, we know from Fringe. Eric Bana was the Hulk, not the Incredible Hulk, but the Hulk. Tell me about Force of Nature.
So Force of Nature is a sequel to The Dry. The Dry is based on a series of mystery books written by an author in Australia. Eric Bana plays an investigator. In the first movie, he investigates a strange killing, and he has to go inside of a town that's full of secrets. It did very, very well. It came out here on the States. It came out here on IFC, and they commissioned a second film. And so they brought back Eric Bana's character. I'm not sure which book this is going to be based off of, but they're bringing back the character and putting them in a new mystery. What's really cool about this too is not only bringing back Eric Bana and Anna Torv, who did many people might remember Anna Torv from the series Fringe that ran for 5 years on Fox. But Deborah Furness is coming back too and playing a role, and she is going to be the soon ex-wife of Hugh Jackman, who unfortunately those two had divorced. So I think this is going to be like her first time being on the screen in years. I mean, without Hugh Jackman, I think in years it's going to be the first time she's done a role. So I'm very curious to see how it works out. Plus it's an IFC film. And any chance I can get an IFC film, I'm all over it. If I can get it, so I'm pretty excited for it. And Eric Bana he's such a good actor. He has a lot of soul in his acting, and I really appreciate it.
I watched the trailer for this. It's a pretty interesting premise in terms of him being an investigator, trying to find a missing woman who went hiking with a bunch of her friends, and the friends aren't exactly forthcoming with the truth regarding her disappearance. So, yeah, that's sort of the mystery aspect was sort of interesting to me. It is interesting too that you point out about IFC Films, the fact that IFC may buy films that are already existing. So not so much them producing films as an independent studio, but finding independent films that are already made and using them as a platform to bring those films to a wider audience, as opposed to A24 producing more original content. That is sort of an interesting thing of, well, if they're spending that kind of money to acquire this film that was filmed in Australia, then it's probably a good sign, I think. Hard to tell. But it comes out May 10th, so we don't have to wait very long to find out one way or the other. And I'm, like you said, I'm a huge IFC fan, so they generally have a pretty good taste in films. So,
you have a favorite IFC film in your collection?
Not off the top of my head, no. It's kind of more of the brand that I like than any particular thing. I think A24 is sort of the easier to say everything everywhere all at once, and a lot of other films of that ilk. IFC, I think, is more quantity over. I don't want to say quantity over quality, but because they do have good films, but it's not the ones that stick with you long term. I don't think.
IFC films?
Yeah, to me, they're not the ones that I don't really think of like films that I watched 10 years ago that were IFC films and go, you know what, I love that film and it still sticks with me to this day. To me, IFC is more like good stories from younger filmmakers or stories that could never succeed in a studio system. So it's having that ability to tell a story that you wouldn't otherwise be able to tell, and having IFC as the conduit through which to tell that story. Yeah. What's your favorite IFC film?
I would flip that right around and go absolutely everything opposite.
Really?
I am not an A24 fan. Not of the new stuff. Some of the early stuff I'm a big fan of. Early A24, but not now. Everything they release now is like in is here out this year. Don't get me going on Hereditary. But no, I'm with that with IFC. Every IFC movie I've watched, I can still talk about today.
Really?
I everyone. Oh, there's even the ones that didn't quite make it. Not every movie that comes out is a slam dunk. I mean, I'll be the first to tell you that. But for every one slam dunk, there's like 98 that are not. They're really strong, and they have a good pattern to it. They make sure that the movies have good stars in it. A lot of their directors get plucked out and get handed bigger assignments. We saw that this year. We saw that this year with Keith Thomas. He directed a fantastic PG-13 thriller called The Vigil, and then he got picked to do the new Firestarter movie.
Oh,
That was the second.
nice.
Yeah. So I mean, sometimes the directors of the IFC movies they get picked up to do bigger movies. So I know that Aislinn Clarke's got a new movie coming out. Hopefully, it's going to be on IFC. Last time I talked to her, negotiations were happening. I'm hoping it comes out on IFC midnight. I love them.
Yeah, and that's also one of the main things that I love about IFC and the whole independent movie scene is it helps find new filmmakers and gives more people a shot at being an artist and telling their stories, exploring their artistic vision. So I love supporting them regardless, and that's one of the major reasons why.
Yeah, you asked me earlier about my favorite guest. I would have to sit there. It's like I was telling you, how do I pick just one? Again, I got to interview Aislinn Clarke. She's definitely way up there as far as like I couldn't believe I got to interview her. I was like shocked. I was like when she said yes, I'm like, holy okay. Maybe I am doing the right. Maybe there's something to this interview thing.
Well,
Um,
if you're getting more filmmakers than I am right now, so you're doing something right.
Oh, we can work together on that. I can definitely give you some talent for sure.
Nice. Yeah,
Um,
I
uh,
definitely want to start interviewing more filmmakers, people from the indie film community too. So
the more the merrier. We need more interviewers. Seriously, to me it's like this is our contribution to movie reviews are one thing. You're offering your opinion on a movie, okay. But when you turn around and you talk to a filmmaker and you tell them you see, it's like going behind the green door in the Wizard of Oz. Like how does that
oh
work? Let's go see the wizard. So we go behind the green door to see how it works. I'm all about that. I get excited when I get to talk to a filmmaker like that.
to get the filmmakers out there they're not the A-listers, they're not even the D-listers, they're the waiting to get on a lister, but people that are very talented and passionate and will hopefully
Mhm.
one day be on this
That's
night
that's
show
what
or
I'm